I do want to share what the Wow Warrior Award is. The Wow Warrior Award came to be about 3 years ago, and it was developed to run alongside with Women's History Month. My thought was that, wow, we tend to highlight all the trailblazers that have gone before us, but a lot of times they are deceased. It's very hard for a woman who is trying to stand up and stand out and feel powerful and follow a great example when they're no longer here. And so my thought was, why aren't we honoring women who are crushing it right now, who are really doing the thing to get the thing, and who are standing up and standing out as that unrepeatable miracle? They know themselves, they know their worth, they're not requiring external validation for their self-worth. They know they have value in this world. And so that is actually what was sort of the thing that started the Wow Warrior platform, to explain wow. The word wow actually has two meanings in my world. It originally starts within the Stop Self-Bullying movement that I have been leading, which is war on words warrior, because we are always in the fight with these words that circulate in our head, many times leading into the negative. And so we want to always focus on working to manage those words in our head, because our words create our world. And as it evolved into the Wow Warrior platform, Wow, it stands for Woman of Worth. That Woman of Worth has actually managed to, most of the time, no one is perfect, but most of the time, manage that narrative up there. And they've also are secure in the knowledge that they are here to uplift and inspire other women to excel as much as they are excelling as themselves and being purpose driven themselves. This woman that you guys are going to see, each one of them has been through a lot of challenges, heartaches, tests, temporary defeats, so much more. And it isn't that they haven't been through some stuff, as I like to say. It's been that they've been through this stuff and they've risen like the powerful warrior that they are. And this is where I always like to say, I learned this from a speaker right before this all came to be, was that she asked the audience, do you know the difference between a soldier and a warrior? And I was like, I never thought about it. But a soldier is taught to fight and a warrior is born to fight. And that's how I knew that that word was, and I had already had that word attached to wow, but it took on a bigger meaning, because that language that we fight sometimes in our own head and sometimes that other people try to put on us externally, is that wow warrior understands that they have a choice in what goes on up here, but they are always in that fight for their worth. They know their worth. They are not confused about it at all. They know their value, and they navigate those self-bullying tendencies like a champion. The other thing that you will find about a wow warrior is that she has surrounded herself with others who will call them on it when she slips, as we will, because we are not perfect. But they have curated a network of powerful women who will say, what did you say about yourself? They will call you to the carpet for it. And they surround themselves with the strong women like you're going to see today. This is one of the reasons why I said, please connect with these women. They are far into that journey and they are able to have that hand to say, hey, wait, you know what? Let's talk about this. You need to know you control that narrative up here, but they'll call you on it. They'll be your best cheerleaders. Everyone in here is a cheerleader for one another. I've been watching it throughout the entire year. And as you listen to these 2024 honorees today, you're going to see a very common thread with these women. They're going to have all of these characteristics that I just talked about, and always there to uplift and inspire. And they know that that's part of why they're here, that that's part of their gift as a wow warrior. So without further ado, we are going to see a short video of all of the honorees. And as I said, not all of them were able to be here today. After that, we're going to bring our speakers up to the stage. So. Next, I want to bring to the stage another just incredible wow warrior. And this actually is proof that I didn't know everybody beforehand. And I was introduced to this woman, Kerri Lewis, I believe by Gail Kraft, I think, who is another extraordinary human. And Kerri Lewis is an addiction and mental health recovery coach. She specializes in one-on-one coaching for professionals, and she does conduct webinars and speaks on various addiction related topics. But the one thing that I know about Kerri is that she is all things love and light, and you never know when you are connected with her, she will drop into your inbox, your text with a love bomb. And she does it all the time. And I absolutely adore her for that. So, Kerri Lewis, inspire us, share your light with us, if you will.
Alrighty, so I set my timer because, guys, I'm a talker. First off, mic drop to Wendy because you are a unicorn and like does see like, so I appreciate you. Really, when we think about brand, I am love, and I show up as love for people struggling with mental health issues and struggling with addiction. I'm a former CEO in corporate America, and I also struggled with a myriad of addictions, including addicted to work, because I identified my worth based on how I could produce and get results. And that's really why I'm so passionate about working with people who are struggling with anxiety, depression, or leaning into a substance or a behavior that does not serve them, because I understand that it comes from an intrinsic, deep non-understanding of who they are, which is why I love Wow Women Warriors, because at the end of the day, we show up and we're full out and we're not afraid to be seen. But unfortunately, too often, a lot of people operate based on conditions, habits, and belief systems that were embedded within their psyche from in utero until 6 or 7. And nobody's ever really challenged them to look at these beliefs to see if that serves them. So they work incredibly hard to achieve results, to achieve the dream home, to achieve the career, never really asking themselves if what they're working so hard for serves them in the first place. And ultimately that leads to shame and guilt. And quite often when we sit in shame and guilt, we end up numbing out, because who wants to sit in suffering? And so, as an addiction and mental health recovery coach, my job is to first off hold space for the individual to allow them to feel safe, to get curious. We are so judgmental. And as a result, we berate ourselves and tear ourselves down. I never had to worry about anybody else's good opinion of me because I was too busy thinking of myself poorly. And so I allow a space where people can get curious and ask themselves questions about the habits, the beliefs, and the behaviors that they lean into, and then give themselves permission to start to release some of the beliefs that no longer serve them. Some beliefs that keep them believing that they aren't worthy of being seen, loved, or nurtured unless they produce work, that they aren't deserving enough to be, free from drugs because they've done all these terrible things in their life. And once you can make somebody feel safe, that allows them to start to get curious about who they are outside of societal expectations, outside of who they think they need to be received, to be loved, to be nurtured. And that's really my biggest passion, is allowing people to start to step out bravely as their own unique individual voice outside of who anybody else thinks they need to be. And that includes parents, that includes loved ones, that includes children. And that is what I hope to see in the world, which is why, to Sherri's point, I do show up as love, because the only way to teach people to be loving to themselves and to show up in a more gentler and more compassionate way is to be that person, to be the change that we wish to see in people. So much of my work is leading by example. I don't just challenge people to question their beliefs, teach them tools and strategies to nurture themselves. But at the end of the day, I show up fully expressed, unapologetically me. And when you do that, yes, that causes fear sometimes in a world of people who operate from conditions and beliefs. But it breaks you free from believing that you need to be or do or achieve something in order to be intrinsically worthy. You can affirm yourself. When you can affirm yourself, you can affirm everybody else in the world. And that's ultimately what I hope to achieve with the people that I work with, is to break free from suffering on their own, to learn themselves in a meaningful and loving way, and then to step out in the world as their unique self so that they can teach others what love actually looks like.
Oh my goodness. My heart is so full, Kerri Lewis. Oh my goodness. I know that's right. Yes. Wave the hands, throw the hearts, do all the things. Like I want to throw some hearts myself. Sharing absolute love for you, Kerri. And you do absolutely show up that way always. And she is the consummate connector. I've met so many incredible people from her, and I know that Holly is putting things in the chat because she is also been the recipient of that. That is what happens when Kerri Lewis blows into your life, skulls and all. She is just incredible, and that will come with it. And that's one of the things I actually love about you when you talked about showing up unapologetically. That's exactly who you are. It's something that you love, and you make no bones about it. Pun intended. That's who you are. It's part of what you love, and you just show up that way. So thank you so much for being you and for being the incredible wow warrior that you are, an absolutely ideal of a wow warrior. So I appreciate you. Thank you so much for sharing. Please connect with Kerri. Kerri, where can they connect with you if they are not connected with you?
I am going to drop my link in the chat right now for my website and then my Facebook page. And I look forward to connecting with all of you lovelies anytime.
And for the people watching the recording, Kerri, what is your website, please?
It's in the chat, but it's kerrilewis.coach. Super easy. My first and last name .coach.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Kerri. Appreciate you.